Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video, and today is Mad About Mini Paper Pads. This one I created after the fourth layout, so this is my first bonus page this month. It's a little out of order since I wanted this to go up on the day of the hop. So this is basically scraps from the collection I've been using this month, and then I'm pulling in a 6x6 paper pad from Cardabella called Welcome Home. The lovely Lisa sent me this paper pad and I've used it a ton. There's not a whole lot left in it, but what was left matched this collection really, really well. So I wanted to take this opportunity to get some more of it used up. I did pull in a wood grain from my wood grain paper pad just to serve as the background since I don't have any more 12x12s with this collection. And I'm starting out by using some of the scraps from this collection, like this yellow lemon paper and the scrap of this gingham banner and this little red layer I saved from a previous page. So I'm using those as my main layers from the kit, and then I'm going to supplement some more layers with the Cardabella paper pad. So I've already pulled in this kind of cement looking gray textured paper, which I think looks really cool. I'm going to pull in a couple more pieces from that paper pad as I get going, but I'm just trying to get a grasp on what I want my design to be. This is the last photo of Billy going forward that I'm scrapping. I don't want to go into too much detail. I think it'll be obvious as the page progresses. I am going to be scrapbooking more Billy photos going backwards. I haven't scrapbooked going backwards in a while because I'm trying to save Billy's puppy photos as the last photos I scrap of him. So that's pretty much what I have going backwards. So I'm looking forward to scrapping those because he was just the cutest little puppy. But going forward, this is going to be the final page of Billy. And I just wanted to use this really homey collection to kind of, there's some sentiments in this collection that I felt like went perfect. And I just need to get it done so I can move forward. I am actually going to pull in one of these chipboard frames from this collection. I'm having a really hard time using these frames as much as I like them. And part of it is, like, this one in particular has a lot of kitchenware in it. And that just doesn't make sense with the theme of the layout. But I like the bold black frame and the dimension that it adds and the extra kind of shiny texture of the chipboard. I just really like what it added to the page. So I am going to use it just as a layer, and I'm just going to plan on covering up the middle portion of that frame so that none of that's distracting, but I still get the cool frame element. So that's what I kind of decided to do. I still have a chipboard title that says blessed, and I thought that would be perfect because I could just work it into my title by adding some more words with my Tim Holtz alpha, which I've really enjoyed using this month. So I'm kind of planning on blessed being part of the title, and I'll just add to it when I kind of get to that point. But for right now, I'm just trying to build these layers. I like what I have going on. So I'm just trying to stick stuff down. I am adding some foam behind the photo just because it's going over this chipboard frame that has some dimension, so I want it all to lay flat. So I'm just doing that really quickly, and then I'll start piecing this together. But I kind of like what's going on. I like the warmth of the brown wood grain with this like deep, rich mustard yellow and the pops of the kind of deeper reds. I just love the palette in this collection, so I'm just trying to balance all of these colors. I did not have enough of this gray paper to be the length that I wanted it to be, but since I have this black checkered banner that's going to run behind the photo, I'm going to cheat a little bit and just trim a piece of that gray paper to paste underneath and just cover the gap with this black. So I'm going to work on that really quick. I love being able to cheat with smaller pieces of paper, especially when I'm using a 6x6 paper pad or any kind of mini paper pad. Sometimes it can be so difficult because they're just not big enough pieces of paper for what you want to use them for. So this is kind of a nice cheat to make them appear larger than they are. So I even did that with that black banner. It wasn't as long as I wanted it to be, but since it's going behind the photo, I was able to tear it in half and just stretch it a little bit, which gave me that length that I wanted. So I'm liking how this is looking. I'm not sure how big this yellow layer will be. The two yellow pieces are both gutted from the same double layout, so they're two separate pages I've salvaged those pieces from. which worked out because I can have one layer on the top and then some extra on the bottom, but I'll end up saving a little bit more of that yellow too before I stick it down, because I'm still hoping to get another bonus page out after this one. So I decided that I was liking how the photo was looking in this lower left quadrant of the page, and that kind of left this opening in the upper right hand corner. And since I did gut that red piece that went behind the photo, I really wanted to use that red somewhere else, because so far it's the only red thing on the layout, and I felt like it needed to be somewhere else, otherwise it would look like it didn't make sense. So it's going to go in the upper right hand corner as a base for a cluster. I really wanted an excuse to use some more embellishment. So I have that wood grain frame journaling piece up there with one of the vase die cuts, and I'm going to pop that die cut up on some foam if I haven't already, but I like how that little cluster is looking at the top. So that's kind of the start of that, and now I'm just trying to figure out what else I want to do. I kind of had a problem on this one where I was embellishing almost too much, and there was kind of embellishment on either side of the photo and in the corner and on the top. And so I had to kind of figure out how to balance it. But there's a lot of these sentiments I really wanted to use. So this one piece that says "Family is the greatest blessing" I thought was really nice. I really like this multicolor "Always and Forever" piece. I thought it was important to get on this page. So I'm going to just have a lot of embellishment on this one, because I like what I wanted to use. So I really like the potted plants too. And I think because I have that cluster in the upper right with the vase, I really wanted at least one potted plant on the opposite side of the page. So I like that yellow vase, that potted plant right there. But before I glue down embellishment, I need to figure out the rest of my layers. So I'm going to go ahead and decide how much of this yellow that I want showing. This is actually the piece that I accidentally tore because I forgot to gut the layers until I got towards the end of the page and then had to rip everything up. But conveniently, it's covered by other layers anyways, so it's not a problem. And then this is where I cut a little bit more from the other scrap to make it look like it's one long layer. So I'm just going to cheat this as well to get the proportion that I want. But I think that worked out really good. And then I have a little bit of that extra lemon paper from what I salvaged. So I decided I wanted to use a little bit of that in the upper right hand corner too, just so all my patterns and colors were balanced. I liked, since I had the red paper pulled up to the corner, I also wanted the yellow paper. So I'm just cutting another piece of that yellow lemon paper, and I'm going to add a layer behind the red just to beef it out a little bit. And then I think this is where I'm adding the foam to that little vase die cut, and I really like what that adds too. I know I want to get some brads on here. I'm not sure how many brads I'm going to be able to get. I was hoping to get quite a few, because after this one, I think there's only one more I can squeeze out, trying to use what I can. But because I'm having multiple areas of die cut embellishment, I don't know how much I can add of the brads. But I'm going to go ahead and stick this down. I really like this little cluster. I was really happy with this little embellishment. There's some chipboard and die cut hearts in this collection I'm also going to use up on this page. So I'm adding the green and yellow one up with that little cluster, and then to the left of the other vase, I'm going to add the red and the white one. So I like that there's hearts in either corner too. And I like that too, because I always say with Billy pages, I always like to put hearts on the layout. So I'm glad I had some hearts left in this collection to use up on this one. And I really like the addition of this yellow scrap. So there's my last little layer. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue that to the upper right hand corner, because I think that looks really cute. I think it kind of is nice that it mimics the layers around the photo too. I don't know, I just find that really pleasing. And then I decided to, everything was kind of looking blocky, I trimmed that banner into a fishtail, and now I'm trying to figure out where I want this title to go. I keep putting it at the top of the page because spatially it just makes the most sense, but I can't help myself. I keep trying to move it around to see if I like it better on the banner or below, and it just ends up staying at the top. But before I do any more embellishment, I was feeling like I really wanted another paper layer. I was really wanting this page to look more layery. So I went back to the Welcome Home 6x6 pad and pulled in this black and white scripty font. And I just think that extra pop of black makes such a huge difference. I really like what that adds. So I'm going to get that piece stuck into 2 areas. And again, it wasn't long enough to be the size I wanted it to look. So I just cheated a little bit because this layer is going behind that checkered banner as well. So get that glued down. And then I think all my paper layers are done. I think I'm going to commit and glue this stuff down. And then I just need to worry about embellishment and my title. So I'm going to get my adhesive. Someone asked on a recent video why I use my double-sided tape. And it's something I don't even think about anymore because I've used it for so long now. But I actually saw Adele Toomey using this double-sided tape. She's Inky Quill. If you know me, you probably know her. She's a way bigger creator, and I love her. But anyways, she uses double-sided tape, and I was always like, that seems so annoying. Like, why wouldn't you just use a glue runner? And then I was like, you know what? I had to restock on my glue runners, and I realized like I was getting 2 glue runner refills for like $5, and then I looked up the double-sided tape on like eBay or like Amazon or something, and it was like 10 rolls for $10, and you got way more of it. So I just figured I would try it, and I thought having to peel the backs off would be too annoying and I'd go back to the glue rollers, but I just never did. And I honestly don't notice any inconvenience with having to pull the backing off. So that's why I use it. It's so much cheaper and I don't really notice a difference, even though I know logically it takes more time to peel the backing off. It just is a part of how I make my pages now and I don't notice. I also do like it because I feel like I move around my layers a lot until I decide I want to commit. And it's kind of nice since I do piece my scraps together so much that I can use the double-sided tape to hold my layers together without peeling the backing off. So I can still move it around before I commit. And I kind of like that aspect of it too, because if I used a glue runner, I couldn't piece my scraps together the way that I do since it's always so Frankensteined. But I just figured I'd include that in this process video because it was a good question. I hadn't answered it in a while. But this is what I decided to do with the title. I really liked how it looked on the top of that layer. And then there's just a little gap underneath it. I thought I'd fill in the rest of the title. So I'm back using my Tim Holtz alphas. I love these alphas. I think they go so good with this collection. But I'm just adding below the word blessed, to have known you. So the whole title reads blessed to have known you. And I think that's a really sweet title, kind of makes the point without me having to do any journaling or get into it. So I like how that looks. If I haven't already, I popped the blessed up on some foam. I think I did that in the beginning of the process, but I like how that has a little dimension too. So I'm going to get these words down and stick down the blessed. And then I really wanted to have, because I'm not using any of the other black phrase die cuts on this page, I wanted another area to use these Tim Holtz alphas just so that that black and that font could be in 2 areas. And there's numbers in that pack, so I decided just to go ahead and put the dates on here too, just so that kind of rounded out the page. So underneath the banner, I'm just going to add the dates. And then there's no hyphens in the punctuation in that pack, so I'm just going to use a white pen to do the dash between the dates. So I like that. And then I think I wanted to be done, but I just felt like I had so much embellishment still. I still needed to do some brads. But I still have a lot of die cuts, and I really wanted to get like a couple more things used up because I just know I only have 1 page left to do. So I will go back and add a couple more things, but I think I'm almost done with the alphas. But I kind of like that that's in 2 separate areas with the numbers and the title, just so it's balanced, I feel like. And then here I'm attempting to do the dash, but this white pen is dead, so I had to go find another white pen to do the dash, and then I can move on to the brads. One thing, I was saving one of the brads because it's a black brad with the word love on it in like the same font. So I really wanted to use that brad on this page because I think it plays off of the Tim Holtz alphas really nicely. And then there's this little heart speech bubble I was playing along with having at the top just to pull in another pop of red. just because I haven't used a whole lot of red on this layout other than that one paper and that one heart. So I was toying around with adding that to the title, but I'm going to do my brads first. I really wanted to get more brads on this page. You'll see I attempted to use one of the larger brads that was a wreath, but immediately it just looked wrong, so I took it back off. You see I added the little black love brad to the top cluster, which I really like it in that cluster, but it looked like it was kind of crowding that die cut a little bit, so I ended up shifting it to the top part of that embellishment instead of within that wood grain frame, and I think that looks better. And then I just add I do add this little speech bubble. I move that black love brad, and then I just add a little yellow brad over by the other hearts, just because I wanted a brad over there, but I decided it needed to be one of the smaller ones just to add a pop of color. So I like that little yellow. I think is perfect. So I think this is pretty much it. I do go in and add some staples in opposite corners, so I'm adding a couple down here by those hearts and then a couple up by that love brad, and I really like the addition of that metal. And then I think I'm done. Oh, I add a flower too. I just couldn't help myself. I just had to keep adding stuff. But this little yellow flower I popped up on some foam and added with this little vase just because I felt like the vase needed a friend. And here are the close-ups. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you check the description for everyone else playing along with Mad About Mini Paper Pads. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.